call the meeting for our work session on July 22nd together, to order. If you would please stand and join with our prayer and pledge of allegiance. Hopefully the microphone will be able to pick up all of us speaking. If you would pray, please, with me. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us out today. We thank you for the blessings that you've given us. We thank you for a school system that is second to none. We know that our staff members and our students are the best, and we want to do everything we can as a board to make sure we keep it that way. So thank you for giving us the desire to be here and the ability to do what we can when we can. Father, we ask you today for a special blessing on this country. Father, we ask that you bring back some sanity, some calmness, and some civility so that we can understand that we're all Americans first, and we need to do what's best for our nation and our kids. So thank you for all these things, and we thank you in advance for giving us the wisdom that we need tonight to carry out your mission in this world. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, approval of our agenda. I would like to, as I've discussed with you, I'd like to ask that we approve the agenda with the addition of the potential addition of contract work at North Surrey High School to go with our loop, not our road, our driveway loop that goes around the back of the campus, and we'll have some pictures of that. Can I get a motion to?
I will make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Hutchins to approve it with that addition.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bledsoe. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Thank you very much.
Mr. Badgett, we'll make that addition to 2.03, Doug, right after the 10-year facility planning part 1. Since Robert is here in the lobby, that'll make it easier on him.
Gotcha. Okay, so I have 2.03 as childcare, is that?
That's right.
am I
We'll
good?
just
Okay,
bump it
put that
down
in.
and,
Gotcha,
yeah.
okay. All right, let me just reset my agenda here to make sure I've got the most current. Okay, we have our assurances, debarment certification, and NC prayer certification. Ms. Llewellyn, how are you doing today?
Just fine. I hope everyone's doing well today.
We left the hearing setting set up. I hope you're okay with that, but you're
Yes.
not on trial.
No, you were perfectly okay.
Okay, good. Okay, so we need to talk about all those annual requirements that we have to vote on.
Well, you don't actually have to vote on it.
Okay.
It's just an acknowledgement where I have to enter it into the minutes of the Board of Education before I can upload those into CCIP, the consolidated agreement.
Okay. So did everyone have a chance to take a look at that? So basically, we're not going to do business with anybody that the federal government says we can't do business with,
The debarment, we cannot do anything to prohibit prayer in school.
right?
We have to meet the assurances for all the titles, Title I, Title II, Title III, Title IV, RLIS, as well as then the overall umbrella of assurances.
Gotcha. That's a lot.
It is.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions of Mrs. Llewellyn? It's the thing we've done every year since I've been on the board, and it's just to make sure that we're following the right steps in how we spend our money.
That's correct.
And that we allow free and open prayer in schools. We can't discriminate against that if students are.
That is correct.
Gotcha. Okay. Any questions? Anybody like to make we don't have to make a motion, we just have to give you the approval to go ahead and do it.
You just have to acknowledge the receipt of that information, and then Dr. Reeves will sign it for me.
Well, I think we just acknowledged the receipt. Everybody said good receipt? Okay.
All right.
Good.
Thank you very much.
That's easy. Look at that. We're 7 minutes ahead already.
Good.
Don't jinx it.
All right, Robert.
I knew he had to say it.
Come on, Robert. We're gonna get this done quick. There we go. And he's got the right color shirt on today too.
Where we sit at?
Wherever you want. You can pull the chair up there in the middle if you like.
Right there to the defender's table.
You match your first slide too, by the way.
Yeah. 10-year facility plan. We'll do that one first, or do you want? This is the North Surrey.
Doug, can you go into his presentation on the agenda? That will be for the next agenda item.
Yeah. So that he didn't have to stay too long.
So for the next 3 months, I'm going to briefly
just go over some of the, why we did a 10-year facility plan back in 2013 and how it has assisted us with projects in the past with of course, with the renovations of the 3 elementary schools and some other planning things. So this is our first session. You can go ahead to the next one. So when Dr. Reeves came on board with us, he had the vision to create a 10-year facility plan for our school district. That was more in depth than what we are required to do every 5 years with the school planning. So the school district, we contracted with Mr. Bill Powell, who had retired from Forsyth County Schools. He was head over their construction and planning department there, done millions upon millions of dollars worth of building schools and renovations and things such as that. So contracted with him to do our long-range facility plan for Surrey County Schools. Go ahead, Doug. So how does a long-range plan benefit the district? It's an overall evaluation, gives you a baseline measurement of the conditions of our facilities and enrollment. It provides the estimate, it helps provide us with an estimate of cost of repair for the district and identify and prioritize those types of renovations and maintenance. And it is a sound basis for long-term planning to provide equitable and optimal distribution of funds as they come to us. We started out, Mr. Powell and I worked together on this, and I assisted him with visiting the schools. We met with each department head, talked about the needs that they had and improvements that could be made for their department or whatever. So once that was done, Bill and I went out to each school and we looked at things like, is the site inviting? Once you pull up to the school, is it look inviting for you to come into the school? Will the buildings and the site handle the quantity of students that attend that school? Is the layout of the site adequate? Do we have enough land? Which it helped us acquire some additional properties at 2 of our high schools down the road. Does the building have good bones? In other words, is it structurally sound? Does it need to be demolished, or can we salvage it? Does the school have the right educational spaces for the programs that are offered or may be offered in the future? And we reviewed all those spaces to see how they felt. Did they function well with the program, and most importantly, were they safe? So an adequate facility should provide an educational experience where the building is not a distraction to learning. And when I say that, I'm talking about you got roof leaks, or you're cold, or you're hot, or the lighting's not well enough for you to be able to see well to learn. So
Your cafeteria might be too small.
cafeteria is too small. You have to eat on the floor or out in the lobby or whatever. So we looked at those type things. Go ahead. Facility conditions should, of course, include comfort, being warm in the winter and cool in the summer, adequate lighting, the absence of unwanted water leaks such as that, no odors or environmental hazards, safe student drop-off and pickup areas, which we're improving right now at North Surrey High School, and we've improved at other sites as well. Good site visibility for administration to be able to see who's coming up to the front of the school. Once law enforcement or fire department or whatever comes to the school, do they have good visibility to get in to take care of the situation that's at hand? And of course, safety measures, which we've done lots of improvements since 2013 on safety improvements. Some of the systems are really not easily visible to check and look at. Things such as roofing, heating and air equipment, electrical panels, life safety systems such as intercoms, fire alarms, our servers, cameras, things such as that. So we used, our maintenance history or typical life expectancy for those types of systems in the evaluation process. So during the evaluation, all areas and spaces were visited and reviewed, from the grounds outside to the classrooms in the building, even to the number of toilet fixtures to make sure that we had adequate fixtures for the number of students that we had at that school at that time. Spaces were then rated on a sheet, which you'll see in just a moment. Go ahead and go to it. One more. Poor, adequate, or good. So you can see here, almost every aspect of that school was looked at in depth and given a score of poor, adequate, or good. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to attempt to answer those for you related to this first session.
So this is your first step in getting ready to perform that again for the coming 10-year plan.
That is correct. Mr. Powell has been working to update our 2013 plan, so we use a lot of this same process. I just kind of wanted to front load you on how we got to that point once he comes in and does his presentations to you about this.
So much of that is going to be contingent on size and student. What projections are we using of what our student capacity is going to be in 10 years? How are we going about that?
And that changes, changes. And so that's one of the reasons that we felt like it was time to update that, because, factors change, funding changes, enrollment changes. There's lots of key things that come into play on the plan, so we felt like it was time to update it.
So in the 10-year span that we started in 2013 to 2023, we did renovate the 3 elementary schools, which those were the highest priority that Mr. Powell identified. And Robert and I might have disagreed on his highest priority and my highest priority, but that's why Mr. Powell, it was important for him to be able to, from really an objective standpoint, tell us where are the most dire needs. And some things you can tell on the surface are dire, and then there's some things internally that I might not know of that's dire, and that might be an aging HVAC system. It might be an aging heating, steam pipe issue. It could be lots of issues that to the naked eye just really don't notch themselves up, but that's why it was so important for him. And he obviously gave the board recommendations back in 2013, and Mr. Goins, you were on that board, and we were able to really kind of set a plan in motion with our priorities, and then it helped us when we went to the county commissioners kind of lay out a plan to say, here's our highest needs. And so we kind of did all that work, and now we're on phase number 2, as we've been talking about the 3 high schools. And then beyond phase 2, what's that look like? And so I think what you're talking about are, what does the numbers look like 10 years from now, 20 years from now? Mr. Powell's done a lot of work with our numbers and really, future planning. And so what I envision, where we're going with this, I thought we'd take the next couple of work sessions and really, like Robert said, just kind of front load you in what we've done in the past to get you ready for what we're getting ready to go through. And we're probably going to need about a half a day for Mr. Powell to meet with you in a special called meeting to just go through the next 10 year, through that plan, because it is a lot of information. The last time Robert and I met with him, it's a 3-ring binder that's probably 3 inches thick, because he's taken every single school and done that evaluation. Are the facilities poor, adequate, in need of repair? Are they good? And as you know, some of our campuses, they were built in different eras. And so on one campus, you may have 4 eras represented as that school has either grown or declined. And so what what you gotta really think about are all those other things behind it, the HVAC, the electrical, power, or do we have the safety issues there? Do we have the right water? You know, we've dealt with water issues at Mountain Park, on and off. It seems like every 3 or 4 months we've got issues there. So it's just, those are the kinds of big ticket items. I think as a board, it's important for us to really know what we have. And now with the funding that we're receiving from the county commissioners, right at 2.2 million, I think it behooves us to really think about future planning. We know we've got some of those lottery monies coming to us. We know we're going to have the R&R funds coming to us. We know how we're spending those currently on some safety features, but where do we plan to spend those monies based on the needs in the next 10-year cycle? I think it will help inform us to make some really good decisions that are financially responsible in using those funds and really getting the most out of it. Obviously, the high schools, the cafeterias, the kitchens at Surrey Central and East Surrey are a priority, and, as we've discussed with the commissioners. And so, but there's going to be some other things that pop up that are going to need our attention before we maybe thought about it. And so we'll have to have something reserved. So thought we'd take these work sessions and just really front load you on what's coming. And Mr. Powell, I think once we get school started, I'd like to go ahead and try to get a special call meeting, maybe in September, to do that next 10-year facility plan. But that also helps when you think about the strategic planning, because I think as a board, you're looking at operations as maybe a fifth goal. So I think just from that standpoint, I think that will help inform all of us what the next 10 years are going to look like.
Question?
So we anticipate meeting with Mr. Powell in September?
I'm thinking September. The month of August is just really busy trying to get school started and getting out to all the schools. I think we will be in a little better place to have that meeting in September. And I do think we need at least 3 or 4 hours of dedicated time outside of a work session and outside of a business meeting just for Mr. Powell to present that information to the board and for you to be able to ask questions and have meaningful conversations.
And there could even be some areas like that are not even in the school, like the water tank at Mountain Park. I mean, that could be an issue, something like that.
Well, and the other issue we talked about are our service areas like transportation, maintenance, technology. What do those sites look like? So outside of our school visits, I'm going to plan on board visits to those facilities. And so Doug and I got to work on scheduling that. Maybe a visit to maintenance and walk through the facility, and you can sit down with Doug and really have a conversation with Doug and Robert, or with Amy Samples over at the bus garage. I mean, I know you've been there, but you probably haven't been through some of the offices and seen some of the storage constraints that they have. And, so I think that'd be good. And down at the TLC, we've got some needs there too. So I think that helps inform the board of all the needs from this full circle. Really, as we go and think about that 2.2 million on an annual basis, how do we use it? I certainly want to be frugal with those funds. I want to spend them wisely, knowing that we could have, a situation that pops up that's an emergency. So I just think the more information I can present to you, the more responsible we can be with those funds long term.
Okay, sounds like a good idea to me. Everybody good? Okay.
So we'll work on setting a date in September that maybe works best for you. Is it morning or afternoon? Is it better? Does it matter?
Sort of depends on the day of the week.
Yeah, Monday.
Monday?
Dr. Reeves, I talked with Bill this afternoon, and he made the suggestion of kind of doing his presentation kind of similar to what I'm doing and not flood them all at one time with so much information. Maybe like break it into 2 sessions or whatever. So that may be something you want to consider.
Okay.
He just put that out there because it is a lot of information to go over and absorb it at the same time. So that's something you may want to think about and consider.
Okay. Well, we can get started with the first meeting to see how it goes and how far we get through it.
Okay, everybody good? Okay, we'll talk about the paving project at North Surrey for the loop.
So I met this right about lunchtime. I met with Richard and Keith at the North Surrey project, mainly just for an update on the project and discuss some possible ways to utilize the additional funds that we have remaining in the project. Of course, the funds that we received from the state was $835,000. The original contract that we had with Sowers Construction was $608,100. We did some additional, requested some additional work, such as an ADA pathway up to the softball and baseball complex from the new parking area. So that was figured in, as well as once we got into the project and determined that the soils that we had taken off the football field and stockpiled were inadequate for compaction. So we had to haul in, bring in some additional dirt off-site. So all of that came to about $66,000, I think, off the top of my head. So we have somewhere around $105,000 remaining that we can utilize and put towards some additional paving if the board so chooses. So is that,
Yeah.
do you have the email? It has the color coded.
Doug, can you access the email at 2:19 PM today?
Yes.
That's the right map, but it's just not updated with the.
Okay, here's the email.
It would be the one I sent. I don't think I copied her on it, not Trees. I did.
I mean, forward it to you, Doug, or you forwarding it, Robert?
I'm getting ready to. Sorry. I should- So in the discussions with Richard and Keith, we talked about some possible areas that are in dire need of replacing at North, and so I asked them to break it into 3 different phases because I wasn't sure, what the Board of Education what you guys would choose to do as far as that is concerned. So he broke it into 3 different phases for us, and if you'll scroll to the bottom of that email, there's a picture. Yes, that's right there. And if you can blow that up, please. Can you make it bigger and bigger than that?
Let me see if I can. It's a PDF, so I cannot. I'm sorry.
Okay. I'll have to get up.
So just for reference, the orange is where it comes off 89.
Okay.
So this is phase 1 to this point right here, which was $113,950. So this would be, have binder as well as a cap on it, except for the blue area, which is student parking. And that would just be your typical 2 inches of asphalt on the gravel base. Phase 2 is the red section,
it was 101.
101, 600. This blue area is student parking, and then there's also student parking along this outer edge here.
So that would basically take it up to the pathway going down to the baseball field.
That'll take it all the way up to the edge of the agriculture building at the entrance to the football stadium.
Yeah, that's the field.
So all of this is heavy-duty asphalt with binder, because we have delivery trucks that use this route. We have waste management trash truck that goes this route, as well as the buses. So that area would be beefed up with binder and asphalt, and then the third phase is the yellow and green, and the yellow would be with binder, because typically the buses used to come in and circle around here. So I told him I felt like we needed to beat that area up as well, because in the future, there could be a change in the way traffic flows with buses or whatever. And then the green is your student parking areas. That came to $60,500.
So these areas are currently paved, it's just in poor condition.
They are in
Yes.
terrible condition. They have
Big old pumps.
they have broken up. We have patched with asphalt paving companies. We have DOT has come in on 2 different occasions and tar and gravelled those high traffic areas. They're just not holding up the rest of the project.
So can we do this without resubmitting the bid? $50,000.
I think we can, because it's an addendum to the original contract, in which we had 3 bids. Definitely the 105, to spend that money, I think, because that was definitely bid, and this would be a change order to that contract.
So what do we do with the other 170?
Well, you've got multiple places you can take it. You've got lottery funds, you've got fund balance, or you've got county commissioner funds that have been allocated for the maintenance of our facilities. That's the $2.2 million.
So we have used those funds before to pay for.
Oh, yeah.
We've also got $122,000 from a special appropriation from the County Board of Commissioners for paving that you could use if you so choose. I mean, they actually gave it to us for like repairs, just to go around to different schools and make repairs. It wasn't earmarked for any one specific project.
Are there other facilities that are in as bad a shape, and if we use all of our war chest on this,
No, sir. North Surrey High School is definitely the worst of the 3 high schools we have, or any other school as far as that goes.
So was there any funds left from the football, and can it be used that way?
Well, there will be funds remaining. I don't think that the OSBM office would allow us to use it on parking lot paving. I think it would have to be on stadium repairs.
and we're sure there's not any other unforeseen costs going to come out of this road. That's happening now. Because if we use the 105, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, not that I'm aware of. I mean,
Well, they got the grading done. The only thing they don't really have.
all the areas that needed to be addressed have been addressed. There was one area that did have some unsuitable soil that they had to cut it out, and, they used the dirt they brought in from off-site to compact it and fix it.
And they've got the dumpster pads removed already, right? So they know what's there.
Did they haul off that other dirt from the football field too, or is it still there?
They wasted it down there on the site to kind of, on each side of the new road, and there was some area in behind the softball field that was low that we couldn't maintain. So they used it there to build that area up where we can, in the future, we'll be able to mow it and maintain it, keep it looking nice.
And they've got the stone all the way around back to where the pavement is.
Yes.
Also, since this is a priority need, when you compare, speaking to the other high schools or other school sites,
Stone down on
well, you got to put it there, I'd say we need to move forward.
Well, it's never gonna be any cheaper. than it is right now. I mean, I know that's an old saying and everybody says that, but it's not gonna get cheaper. So,
How long has it been since we did that concrete around the concession area of North Shore? Didn't they put
2 years.
concrete in that area
Yeah.
recently?
2 years.
2
Got all
years.
the mud
I
out.
think it's, yeah, it was with some of the skip money.
That's really nice when they do that.
Dirt tracks. People know who's running across it with trucks and getting dirt on that gravel.
Yeah, Brandy, pretty.
I mean, we can always just do phase one. We'd have to utilize, about $8,000 from additional funds from something.
Here's the parking lot, so.
Yeah.
So where is the, I know we've got them now, but once the is in place, where is the planned area for bus parking? Is it still over by the cafeteria?
Well,
Because we moved it from down where this loop's gonna start to the cafeteria end. I wonder if that's.
that was during the
Right.
erection of the canopy.
That's right, okay. So are they back down now? I'm not
I
saying.
don't know how to answer that question. That's really a principal's decision, I guess.
Because I just think, to me, because the bus is parked there in orange, that could be.
That's why we beefed it up.
Yeah, it needs it bad.
See, originally in 2004, when that campus was repaved, the buses were parked where they're parked now.
Okay,
That area was beefed up with binder.
yeah, okay.
A new principal came on board later, and they redone the route and moved the buses over to the end of the science wing,
Chewed it up.
which is not binded, it's just 2 inches.
It was student parking at the time, if I remember right, or staff parking.
So
Did they not know that?
that didn't help the situation
I
any.
think the principals knew it. I don't know, the principal probably don't know what's underneath the ground there. So, I mean, to me, the orange, blue, and red are critical because of nothing else but the heavy traffic with the bigger.
Well, and that didn't help the situation any. I mean, it don't matter if you put the buses at the end of the science wing or you put them over at the cafeteria. They're all gonna run that route.
Yeah.
So it was gonna get the same amount of pressure and stress on it.
Orange and red, definitely.
That's be my recommendation, having lived with it.
We could do without yellow and green.
Well, I think it's still important too, but, if you had to pick, I mean, that's only 60,000 out of the 275.
What's it gonna be if we have to have it come back next year to do it?
Yeah,
That's my question. So,
it'll be more.
Well, then you're gonna be running equipment over brand new asphalt too.
That's correct.
So, do you really wanna do that? I would recommend we either do it all, pull resources from somewhere and do it all, or we do phase one and we come back, next year, or we plan for it and we do the next 2 phases next year or the year after, or do whatever.
I'll go with y'all if we decide to get this done. I think we also need to say publicly that these are not funds that we could be using for staffing or any of those type things. These are funds that have to be used for
Capital
this
improvement.
type of issue. We're not deciding to terminate positions and pave parking lots. So that needs to be set up front. But with that being said, I could go with y'all on that.
so you're the budget guy, so throw it out there. I don't know
Well,
just where we're gonna pull it from.
well, I'd have to talk to Audra, but I think you've got multiple sources to pull from. Again, lottery funds. You've got your county commissioner funds for capital improvements. There are a couple of pots of dedicated, there's a dedicated paving money that I think was allocated in last year's budget. And you've got future R&R funds. Can they be used on paving lots?
I think so.
I think
As
so,
long as they affect the students.
which is again lottery funds.
So then we're gonna present this at the beginning of the month board meeting and say we're gonna pull it from his funds and have a vote.
Not that cool.
I would be willing to do it right.
They need to, because that way they can.
We just kind of need to know where the money's coming from. We can't just say, or can we just say, do it out of whatever you have to pull it out of?
You can direct me to pull the funds from pots as needed, from lottery funds only, or I can we're not gonna pay for it now. I can come back in August and tell you where the funds are gonna come from and give you options there. But I think the main thing is Sowers needs to know yes or no.
Before the kids come back.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to pull it from wherever you need.
All three phases.
Correct.
Okay.
Doesn't make sense to do part of it now?
I'll second that, I was gonna make that motion. Like you said a while ago, you know, we got the people there now, we got the equipment there. And, you know, if it's any way possible to do an entire project, you know it's gonna be better than do it in sections.
Yeah.
So,
And the project we're doing currently has got the loop all the way down around behind the football field, which is gravel now, and we're gonna mill off the stuff behind the old new wing and fix it all the way to the front parking.
That's correct.
So basically, all that'll be new paving too.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
looks good around.
But we are getting it at the same unit price, as you mentioned, right?
That's
Yeah,
correct.
As original.
The milling, you start here,
Yeah. That's
and it'll go all the way to here.
Right.
And
So all this will be new asphalt.
They were considerably less.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think we need to note that they were considerably less than any of the other bidders. And I think one reason is because they own their own asphalt company. And they've been great community partners, wanted to help us on this project.
Okay, we got a motion in to do both, all three phases, and go ahead and notify them now so that we can, and then you'll find the most efficient pots to pull it from, out of a combination of those, maybe not using all the asphalt money, but some of the 2.2 million, what we got left over from the project, whatever makes most sense.
Direct the superintendent to find the money.
You gotta write a personal check. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's perfect, check.
We're looking at about 160,000 is the remaining balance. Taking off the top what you have left with the safety booth.
Sort of want it fixed where it doesn't cave in next year.
Yeah.
Ask him if we can get a discount to do all three.
So, I will ask. And that, the base, we all know, that's what's causing it. It's because water gets underneath it, it's just killing it. So if they can fix the base, they'll fix a lot of the problem.
I would definitely ask him, because I asked him to break it into three phases, because I wasn't sure, you know, if we'd be able to do it all at one time, but I thought it would be a good idea to
Yeah, maybe
have options.
Since he's there, he can do it all, maybe get us better.
I'll be happy to ask.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed, no. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Looking forward to being out there on the first day of school and seeing blacktop, not gray top. Thank you, Robert.
We mentioned the funds for the field, but we anticipate having some extra. And is that gonna be spent within a certain deadline period, or?
So the good thing about the OSBM numbers are funds, and that's what we've got with the original SCIF dollars. Those are OSBM from the Office of State Budget Management. So that's who's managing those funds. So we had to submit the plan, they have to approve the plan, then we have to submit all payments to them for approval. So it's a very tedious process, and Audra is on a first-name basis with the person that's managing those funds. So these funds are also being managed through OSBM. So the turf funds are also coming from that same pot. So we had to submit a plan, it would have to be approved, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's either track or turf improvements or stadium improvements, where it was really kind of a narrow window of how those funds can be spent.
Would we be able to do some of those repairs that we know we got at East Surrey? Did we use some of those or did we fix there where we had to cave in?
You had contingency monies to pay for that at
So
East
that was,
Surrey.
okay.
That was covered. Now, you did have the D-zone ad at East Surrey.
Right.
I mean, you'll have some left in that contingency to cover part of that, but not all of it. And in North Surrey, you're gonna have some money left over in that contingency. Remember, we didn't budget any contingency, or they recommended not budgeting any in Surrey Central because the soils are really good there.
Good, they're nice.
So,
But we did find some in Surrey Central, right?
we did, but we used some of the money from North Surrey to cover that.
He is hard.
So, use the North Surrey money at Surrey Central, so you're welcome. I heard the comment over here, we did.
There you
So I
go.
think any other improvements that we might make on the stadium, I think we could certainly, they've been really flexible in working with us. We would have to amend the plan, but I think the intent is for track or stadium
Any improvement, any idea of what we have left after?
I don't know that figure.
Because if we can relate it to the stadium, and one of those three, maybe we could use what's left there for that.
You know, you added the handicap rails at North Surrey because it was the only stadium that didn't have handicap rails. That was, I think, right at a $30,000 expense.
And we added the drainage problems in east, and to fix that,
We did that with
we contingency.
Do we have a time limit on spending the funds?
I don't think there's a time limit.
Good. There we go.
Yeah, because we didn't get it till spring, I don't think. Okay.
We've done really well with those projects, and was told today that East Surrey will be finished maybe by the end of this week. They were cutting the letters in and the logo today. So then they just have to put the rubber down.
So if y'all want to take a look with the principals and see if there's anything we could use that money for, that we were gonna have to do anyway, that'd be nice. Not looking for gold plating, but anything that got fixed anyway. Okay, then that's your question.
Letting you know we're now behind.
Okay. All right, is Neil here, or are you gonna cover it? So what we need to do, let's find out how to duplicate the return on investment at White Plains at every school and Pilot Mountain Elementary,
Well,
and we're good to go.
as being the former principal at White Plains Elementary,
How in the world we doubled our
well,
money?
because that school, I always, as principal and Mr. Viking, I mean, they get a lot of transfers. It's the middle of the road between, and so those folks need childcare. Also, there is not a childcare facility really, close by, like, you don't, like in Dobson, you've got 2 or 3 choices here, you know, for Rockford, Dobson. So it's really it's the only geek in town. So, I appreciate Mr. Atkins putting this report together, and I will report for him today. But as you can see, we do well with our before and after school care. Last year, I believe the board, we did increase, we needed to increase. And so we're just reporting, we're not asking for increase. We're doing well, I think we're fine in our operations of our before and after school care. You can see there that we did take care of indirect costs, and we are starting the year out with $18,675. This was as of June 30th. We are missing 2 payments that we will receive there, that we're starting the year off on a good foot. We'll be able to purchase supplies and be able to continue to pay our employees and be ready to go. So I'll answer any questions that you may have to the best of my ability.
Just a couple.
Sure, I'll try.
Indirect cost of 20,000, what are those?
That's when because and correct me, Dr. Reed, you may want to answer that, where it's kind of like an enterprise account we can pay. Basically, it comes out of this fund and it goes into the general fund of the school system, just
So
like
we
from
use
federal
20,000
grants.
to put some money back into the general fund.
That's exactly right.
Think about the electricity
Right.
used
Yep.
to operate from 3 to 6, heating, cooling, floor care, paper towels, all the expenses.
Wear and tear on
Yeah, I mean, those are just general things that we can charge back to the program.
So we're still net 18,675 after
After
paying the general
indirect
fund.
costs. Mhm.
So here's my question, could we potentially, where we had increased the cost for staff as well, could we look at returning some of those funds or helping to supplement that going forward if it's continuing to make money? And we're still getting some return on investment to the school system. Could we help share in this net positive with the staff that we increase the tuition? If that's a possibility, I don't know that it is.
But the thing about when we started this program, it was done by an outside people, is that correct?
Yes.
Some at school, and it wasn't working that well. And so when we started this program, we wanted to be kind of a break even, have the parents, have the children and all, and the school's not losing any money. Kind of a break even has been our goal, if I'm correct, and I think.
To answer your question, I'd want Audra to answer that, because there will be some cost associated with starting up the program this coming year that could come out of that 18,675. I don't know if there's any carryover, but those are questions I could ask auditor. So I think what I hear you saying is, could we give our employees a cost break?
Correct. If we show a net positive at the end of the year, could we retroactively help out those employees without, and the program not lose money? Is all, if it's feasible.
So I'll talk to auditor.
Okay.
Do we know how this compares to the previous year?
Well,
How many
it's,
years is it?
there's some of the schools does a lot better than the other
That's
schools.
it.
And I mean, some schools help carry other schools.
Right.
So we got ahead and we're staying ahead.
Yeah, we've stayed ahead, but it's not, I mean, it's pretty razor thin. And if you look, you've got some schools that are in the red.
How do
Because
we account for that? 23, that's $30,000 difference between the top, both ways. How, what's,
Copeland, for
what's
example.
causing it is what, like the,
well, it's the number of students enrolled. So you got staff members that you're paying a pretty good, you know, a decent hourly wage, and when you get to a certain number, you gotta add another staff member. So if you don't have enough students to truly cover it, then it costs, and we also feed them snacks. But what we've done is taken the excess to be able to cover the smaller schools, because it really provides our parents a service. And we've always felt like, even if we're in the red at some schools and in the black at other schools, so long as we totally can operate in the black, it's okay to go in the red in some of those smaller schools, because it's providing our families a service in some of our rural parts of the county that might not have adequate child care. And some of the kids are getting tutoring, they're getting help with homework. They like to have them at school. It's easy for parents.
They get a snack.
Yeah, they might not get it home.
And it provides an additional income for some of our employees, or additional revenue source for our employees that work after school. So it's really a win-win in a lot of ways.
I love it, as long as it's not losing money.
Yeah.
If we can share,
It's a big help to the parents.
if we can share some of those rewards back with the staff, I would like to look at that, but that's all I've got on it.
You can imagine these mothers having to drop children off and wanting to get to work.
Yeah. And then get back there about 3 o'clock to pick them up.
Yeah.
Do we know if we have waiting lists at any, or can you ask Neil, I know you don't know off the top, do we have waiting lists at any of these that are making money, that we're
No,
having
we
to
just
turn
had-
away?
No, as far as I know, we don't.
Okay.
If they're of age, we don't turn them away.
Okay, good.
They just keep adding,
You
we
just
just add
adjust your
staff.
staff, okay.
Mhm. We
Because I
just
mean, you
add
look,
staff.
White Plains is not spending a lot more than Copeland on expenses, but the revenue's 4 times.
Because they got that many more kids.
And we got a state regulation that puts parameters on the number of employees we have to have.
So we are not, it is not a certified before and after school childcare.
Right.
But we keep the ratio, Mr. Val works, we keep it at really pretty close to the childcare, the North Carolina DHHS student-teacher ratios. And there's been times we've added, if you've got a lot of, let's say you've got a lot of kinder and first grades and they need a lot more help, we've added there. I mean, it just depends. We try to stay within the number, and we try to have 2 adults.
Okay, any other questions?
Mhm.
Great, thank you for the information. It's always good to know. Do we have any before after schools now, or is it all after? Seems like I remember we were only doing after.
I do know White Plains has before.
They have before, okay.
Mhm.
And that may have a lot to
And
do
I
with
think,
the baseball
and
need.
Franklin might, it's
Yeah,
someone who
Franklin.
needs it, Franklin has before too.
Okay. All right, beginning teacher plan. Amy's out there waiting. There she is.
There I am.
How are you doing?
I'm great, how are y'all?
Good. So executive summary is a long executive summary. I saw you do that, 3 pages, that's a good one.
It is long, and just to give some clarification on it, we have 2 pathways now. With this beginning teacher plan, this was something we talked about, Mr. Ryan and I, after our discussion about BTs, and thinking about how we can best serve them. We have so many teachers coming in without teacher preparatory programming. So you have teachers that are coming in that have 4-year degrees in mathematics or in a field like mathematics that are teaching math. that have not been through a teacher ed prep program. So their pedagogical skills are just not very strong. And so we would like to offer 2 pathways. And pathway 1 would be for licensed teachers with collegiate preparation, and the second pathway is for emergency or residency licensures. So we felt like those 2 groups of people needed something different, so we wanted to differentiate that for them to make sure that they were getting what they need. So our kids that are graduating, say from Appalachian State through teacher prep, they're getting all of those skill sets that they need to be teachers. They're learning how to lesson plan, they're learning how to look at assessment data, and with our teachers coming in without those prep plans,
You're talking lateral entry.
yes, yeah.
Which you told us that our strategic planning is starting to increase the numbers
Yes.
out of those programs.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's statewide, that's a statewide issue, and so trying to be creative with the planning around this, Mr. Vine and I put our heads together to think of how we could best serve these teachers depending on their pathway. And of course, if you come out of a teacher prep program, you don't need some of the things that a teacher who does need those would need. So we don't want to make it irrelevant, so we want it to be very relevant for both types of teachers coming in, whether they're licensed or whether they're trying to obtain a license through the residency or an emergency program. So I'm just asking, I know you've had time to read it, and I don't have to read that to you, if you have any questions.
Does this coincide sort of with the advanced teacher roles?
No, this is all just beginning teachers. If you're in year 1, 2, or 3 as a teacher in the state
No,
board.
I understand that, but I'm saying who is giving them that extra attention? Is that the advanced teaching role, or?
It's a variety of people. It's directors, it's the lead teachers, it is mentors that are selected by the principals. Mentors have to have an accomplished rating on their summative to mentor ABT. That's state board policy, that's not our policy. And if they are not accomplished, there has to be a record of reason to the state as to why. And, you know, so we're just trying to follow that policy, but yet give our folks what they need. So we have the ability to be flexible and do that, and that's why we've worked on this plan, to make sure that all of our BTs are getting exactly what they need, and that they're not sitting through trainings that may or may not be relevant to them.
Because right now we have them all sitting in all the same.
We do.
Correct.
I like it, I like the not one size fits all approach. I
And
thought it was good.
Yeah, this meets the requirement we have to submit to the state for our BT plan.
This does meet the requirement for the state. This is the paper copy of the BT plan. Mr. Rod, do you have a copy of that? It's the same thing as the executive summary. It is the one that we do need signatures on. I brought 2 copies just in case, but the executive summary is that plan exactly, but with the cover page and what the state requires for us to submit to them.
So any teacher 1 through 3 has to be in this plan?
Yes, sir, they
How many
do.
teachers do we have now?
So last year I had 72 beginning teachers. Thus the need for some of these coaches to be in classrooms co-teaching and
What
helping.
percent, do you know what the percent is?
Out of 570.
Mr. Vine knows the exact.
No,
Maybe.
it changes daily.
It does.
It just.
You know, there's 400 or 500 teachers, so whatever
Yeah, about 15%.
that percentage is.
It's a bigger percent than we've seen in the past.
You anticipate that increasing this year?
So at this time, we have positions open and we're already at 11 or 12 BTs on the list from our principals. So if we get up to about 20, we're gonna be sitting on average,
So we have to.
maybe a little bit less than where we've been the last 2 years. But the second year past the pandemic, we had about 32. So that was the group I think my son came into, was about 32. But we want to provide them support because obviously we want to retain them. And you can't retain great teachers if you don't have support.
This is the 6th page.
So are we losing them?
No, we're not really losing our beginning teachers at.
They're graduating from year 3 into not being a BT.
Well, yeah, I get that, I just wondered after that, after they got a little bit of experience, are they
There-
going somewhere else?
So there's a concern across the state that folks are losing them. Our district is not one of those that is in a high in a scary place of losing beginning teachers, but we don't have a huge problem with losing people typically anyway. But I do think that the intentional support that we've been able to give the last 3 years through these coaching positions that we've had coaches that have been co-teaching with teachers in their classrooms and planning lessons with them and doing data analysis with them. So the intentional support, I do think, has been one of the pros that we've had to really retain these folks in our schools. And we want to continue that work. We want to continue being supportive and helping them and encouraging them. Teaching is a very hard profession, and it's not getting easier. Right, it's not getting any easier, so.
And I think it supports the strategic plan we've been talking about. How do we support those? Because we know that 4 and 5 year point is when we could start to see them. So the more hands-on or support we can give them early on.
Yes.
I think y'all did good on this, congratulations.
Yeah, and the biggest concern, I won't say complaint, but concern I have with teachers moving here at 20 years of experience is, why do I have to go through all this again? I've been teaching for 20 years, so I think it's good that we're tailoring it to.
Well, so those teachers do not have to go through beginning teacher training if they've been a veteran teacher.
Okay.
They just go through a quick new to Surrey County schools.
Okay, gotcha.
Just so that they can learn and be in a common language within the professional learning communities. But they do not have to do all of
Because
this.
they made it sound like that, so okay, that's
No.
good to know that. Okay.
No.
Yeah, if you're new to Surrey County Schools, we changed that, I guess, right after COVID. We made that a different plan.
We also, I would love to say that with this plan, I feel like we're really able to tailor what each individual person would need, and that's important to us.
Okay. Now, in the agenda, you asked that we review it and be ready for approval at the August 5th business meeting. Do y'all want to do that, or do you have any preference?
I'd be okay, we'll go ahead and implement it and get rolling with it. I'll make a motion that we approve it as presented and move forward.
Okay. We have a motion to approve the beginning teacher plan as presented for final approval. Have a second?
And on this, I say,
Second. Okay, so Mr. Bledsoe, Mr. Whitaker, and as he walks in the door, any further discussion, we're going to vote on the beginning teacher plan, Mr. Hudson. Okay. We'll approve it tonight instead of holding it until August 5th. You good with that? I am. All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no? Doug, I'll sign it while I got it. How's that?
That's fine, yes.
All right, revised science curriculum review.
So, board members, we come today just to share with you our local curriculum review process per policy 3100. The state of North Carolina has revised their standards handbook and have, per some chief academic officers' request, have given us, we want a 10-year plan. And there are lots of standards changing coming. It is a lot at one time. But this year, our biggest focus is science. And so we have worked, Amy, Ms. Harris, and Ms. Spicer have worked with our teachers and Jeff Edwards over the past year. We took a whole year to write our local curriculum. So if you remember, the state gives us the standards, that give us resources, unpacking documents. Then it's our teachers writing our curriculum, our lesson plans, what we need to do, our assessments. And so for middle and high school, we used our required work days that we had, and all teachers, science teachers, were able to be involved in that writing. Amy and our coaches put them in groups, and they were able to develop that. We started it in January so that we would be ready. Then Ms. Spicer used the teachers who were in the early letters cohort, who did not have to have letters, to write our science elementary curriculum. Then we got feedback from, sent that out and got feedback from elementary teachers in that. And so what you have before you today are links to our curriculum, high school, elementary, middle, basically K-8. And I know that it's a lot to read, so I just put, if you would review it, and then we could approve at the August meeting, or if you've all read it all already. However, Ms. Harris and Ms. Spicer will be supporting teachers in this. The biggest change were going to the national standards for basically how do we do science. And that it's not just sit and get, it's doing lots of the engineering, science and engineering practices being implemented within the curriculum, which will now be a tested strand, which will be new for us on 5th grade, 8th grade, and biology assessments. And so in summary, it's about getting kids involved hands-on and doing science. So I'll be glad to, we can answer.
I would like to add too, there has been no documents released yet about the testing specifications. So we're still waiting on that part from DPI, but it is
That
exciting.
sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Didn't this happen to us in social studies last year, or was it social? What was it?
Well, they waited on that for the unpacking. We did get unpacking and
Okay.
crosswalks. What we're waiting on is, we wanna know.
We want to know what's expected.
What's
of us.
expected on the assessment, the breakdown. And, but also know that, I think Neil's got his accountability meeting coming up, so hopefully I'll get that to him.
So what do you mean by tested strand? What is
So
it,
like-
just the hands-on part?
No, well, we know the engineering practices are gonna be tested on, but we don't know what % of the test.
No.
And so like life sciences, weather, those standards to strands, we wanna know what percentage of each of those will be tested.
So the
like
teacher
right-
will know how to do their lesson plan.
Right, so we may have to make some adjustments, because let's say weather comes out and it's 30%, and we've only allotted 10%, we're gonna have to go back and we need to add some time, or we need to go back and do that, so if it's 30% of their test, if it's a certain amount.
That's the amount of time you should be spending on teaching.
Well,
this.
you won't, if it's a heavily tested area, teachers are gonna want to spend time on it. They're gonna be like, you didn't put enough days in on that, so. And then we'll teach it and use it this week, this year, get feedback, and make adjustments, that's what we do annually.
And the goal is to start this when we come back to school in August.
Yeah, that is what the state expects, is for us to go ahead and implement
This year. Yeah.
this year. And of course, they understand also that there may have to be some tweaks made based on what they decide with the testing strands, because in middle and high school that changes.
So we can make those adjustments for you.
Right,
Mhm.
because if molecular biology is gonna be heavily tested, then we need to know that. You know, I think we will know that. I think that Mr. Atkins will probably get that information at his next accountability meeting, but we do not have that yet.
Question? Y'all wanna wait and have a chance to look on it?
I'd like to keep it going and just.
Is this
approve it and
time
move on.
sensitive for y'all? Would it help?
It would help us, yes,
Yeah.
because then it's always nice to be, I'll just be honest, it's always nice to say to principals and to teachers, the board has approved this.
We'll make a motion, we approve it.
I trust our team that did this, so I think it's good.
I'll say.
What, 6th, 7th, and school starts right
The
there?
5th and 8th, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So Ms. Bledsoe, motion, Mr. Whitaker, second.
thank you, we appreciate your support, and I really appreciate
gonna
all the
say aye,
teachers,
Yeah,
oh,
we-
sorry.
Yeah, you don't know what,
Yeah.
they made, all right, any further discussion? Yes, or question? All right, all those in favor, aye?
Perfectly.
You do. If you understand all that perfectly, I trust our team, the team, our teachers and our staff, so yeah, I do. All those in favor, including Clark, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no? Thank you, so we can move forward with it, gives you at least a couple more weeks to get everything working with them, perfect.
Yes.
Thank you very much, thanks for all the hard work you did on it.
Yes, thank you.
Bring something hard for us next time.
I'll try. I'll bring
Okay, we
something
got
harder.
our fundraising now, right?
Thank you.
Fundraisers for 24-25. I looked through them, it didn't look like there's anything new. I noticed some schools were copying what other schools had done last year. It all looks like stuff we've done before. I like the fact of putting in that we're going to be in compliance with board policy 6140. And I know we can't sell candy bars without complying with all that fun stuff. We can't have sugar drinks for fundraisers during the school day.
And there will be more requests coming in.
Yeah, this is just the
This
initial.
just gets us started.
Okay.
Did they still give candy to the kindergartners?
I don't think there's, though, I think they have to follow policy on that.
Can we give?
Y'all can do whatever, if you want to give candy to kindergartners, you go right ahead.
No, I don't know.
Is this just an FYI, or we need to put
We need to approve it either now or at the August 4th, August 5th meeting.
I'm going to assume that the school is following the rules, and I'll make a motion, we approve it.
I think they always have, and they know that they're pretty strict. All right, we have a motion by Mr. Hutchins, second by Mr. Goins to approve the fundraising request to date, but we know that'll adjust as we go. Any further discussion? All those in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed, no? Thank you. So that's one off our list. All right, now, one that I think we've all waited for, advanced teacher roles grant application approval.
So board members, wanted to put this in front of you. The deadline to apply for this grant is coming up in August. We've applied for it in the past, we've not received it. A new round's coming up. If you look through this application, you can see that where it's dated, but don't know that a whole lot will change as far as the application itself, but just wanted to see if you have any questions and if you're okay with us moving forward to apply for this advanced teaching roles. I love the idea of what they're creating. I will say my biggest concern is sustainability once the grant funds run out for the advanced teacher role. When I look at other school systems that have received the funds originally, those funds have continued. So I could only hope that we might see that continuance if we were to receive the advanced teacher role grant.
Do we know how long? I mean, it's what, 2016 was the first, so they've continued that since then?
From conversations I've had with other superintendents, that is my understanding that they've continued to receive those funds. And you have organizations like Best NC, who is a pro-business organization across North Carolina that understands the importance of hiring good teachers, keeping good teachers, and the need to reward good teachers. And I think they're certainly in favor of this and continue to advocate for it. So I do know that organization has supported this and continues to support the advocacy efforts to keep funding going.
Who provides the funding on the grant?
Does it come from the state?
The junior center.
Yeah.
It's in the budget.
So it looks like here, we submitted one in '23 for, they call it a ATR pilot program proposal. I didn't get 1.6.
Yeah.
So is this what we were looking at, like the State Board of Education had done some pilot programs on the lead teachers and stuff like we were talking about? So this is a new position that would have to be, you would go out and find the teachers, the existing teachers, or you would post it and teachers would apply for these positions, or how would that, or is it you just?
Yeah, I mean, I think we put it out there and we pick people and make sure qualifications are where they need to be and they have a good track record. Just because somebody applied, I mean, we wouldn't give it to them unless they had a history of a good track record of being an advanced teacher.
So this is sort of like a curriculum coach, but with teaching.
They would stay in their building.
Right.
And help and co-teach and teach and those type of things to help that school, that particular school.
Gotcha. If you think about the intent of what's actually happening right now, and Amy just brought it up with beginning teachers, so you have a mentor that is really lending their help to a brand new teacher that's not getting compensated, not nearly what they're worth. Or you may have another math teacher who's phenomenal, who could help a BT co-teach a lesson. So this whole role of advanced teachers is really, they're trying to really think about where are we at as a profession 5 years, 10 years from now. If you've got this teacher shortage, what are we doing to build the base, retain the base, and grow the future of teaching? So the role of a classroom teacher from 8 to 3, going in one room and shutting the door, that's really not what advanced teacher roles is. It's really trying to take the lid off of that to open up some other categories to look at leadership options for teachers without going into administration and ways to get compensated for that leadership.
Yeah,
that's really what the advanced teacher roles.
That's what I gathered. to advance, sometimes you have to leave the teaching role entirely. And a lot of people, as we know, they get to that administrative and they still miss that role of teacher. So I think this is a good middle ground to reward extra work and advancement.
That's why we looked into it and have really thought it would be a good fit for our school system, and also helps us be competitive.
Is this one position for 20 schools?
No, it's
20 positions? Or how many positions is it? And do we, if we don't get
It's
second year,
several.
do we have to go back and tell them you've lost your job?
These are added responsibilities to current
No.
positions.
Nobody would lose their
People
job
are
if they
getting
applied for
compensated
this and
for it.
didn't get it. They just want to build it up within the,
Okay.
With the grant,
but it would serve all 20
Woods.
Compensation and added work.
if there's any way that we can get our teachers compensated and go back into, this, to me, seems like it's just a newer, fancier, glossed over version of a lead teacher.
That's what it is.
It's what it
That's what
is.
it is.
So if we can do that, if we get those grants, God forbid we get them and then lose them, you know, but I'm for it.
Well, it reads to me, reading through our proposal last year, it looks like the state is out there looking for great ideas. Because y'all put together, this is what we plan to do. It's not like, well, here's the money.
Yeah.
You had to put a plan in place, and this entire plan looks like we're trying to find ways to make our teachers better. So, hey, they work in Surrey County, maybe we'll look at it across the state. Okay, I like it too. I think it's a great idea.
That's why we were disappointed we didn't get it.
Yeah,
Our team will go back, Mr. Vine, I want to go back, if you were, give us approval, we'll go back and we talked today about the budget, and we'll go back in.
Right, 'cause it's all, I mean, if this was.
We got feedback, but the feedback was on two completely different ends, so, our team's gonna go back and use the rubric and take the feedback Dr. Reeves got us and try to make heads or tails. One person rated us extremely high and said we were great and fantastic, and one rated
On a
us.
section, and somebody rated us low.
Rated us low,
Same section,
so-
so I don't know.
We don't really know what areas to change, but we'll get our team back together to, I don't know, sharpen the pencil.
Read it, it's very lengthy.
Very.
I think you all did a good job at it. And I don't feel as uncomfortable about this grant because it's coming from the state.
Mhm.
It's not, there's not strings to it on the backside. So I'm good with it. I think y'all did a good job, and I make, well, somebody else make a motion.
Well, whoever made the decision to bring it to us first, thank you. That way we don't get hit from the back end of it, not knowing what it is.
well, and I think.
I'll make a motion, we could.
Okay, yeah, that we approved it.
Or approved.
Apply for it. Okay, so motion by Mr. Hutchins that we approve going ahead with the grant proposal.
I'll say.
Second by Mr. Whitaker, and he's gonna walk back in just about in time too, to get a unanimous vote. Yeah, I'll just tell him, say aye. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no? Thank you. And what I really like, the webpage shows you the ones that got approved. So you could look at those and say, oh, okay, what do we need to adjust? We did.
We did, we still didn't get it.
Okay, all right. Good idea anyway. All right, great. So, yeah, and thank you for bringing it to us, appreciate it. And I think it's gonna make us all easier to answer those questions that are gonna come. Okay, personnel updates.
This many.
So board members, I thought it would be good for Mr. Vi to give you an update of where we are. We've had a lot of moving parts and pieces to this summer, a little bit more than normal as we try to right-size the district, especially with the loss of ESSER funds. And so I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Vi.
Okay. What I wanted to do is just give you an update of where we're at at 4/19 on the 22nd. And that could have changed while we've been in this meeting, but where we have openings still in the school system, and they're listed down through there, whether they're a certified position or they're classified. Some of them say pending out to the side, meaning we're real close, we're just checking some references on some folks. If everything pans out, that would come to for approval, but that's So they're close in some of those areas. Example, maybe EC and Gentry, we're probably real close on that. I know the principals are working for, it says curriculum and literacy, that's what we used to call reading specialists at the elementary school. We had 4 of those openings. They're real close of sending those over. So, and then some EC teacher assistants. All the schools have interviewed for those, and we really had good turnout, good application turnout on the teacher assistants, the EC teacher assistants, which was great, because I was looking at neighboring districts and I saw EC teacher 4, that we have 4 EC openings. Well, I look at Stokes and they have 5, and I look at Wilkes and they have 5. I looked at Winston-Salem Forsyth County, and the whole staffing, I mean, it's 60 plus that they need in EC staffing. So EC, I remember we had that conversation at the last board meeting, how challenging it is. So here we have neighboring districts that have the same number of EC openings that we do. So it definitely is a challenge finding people who have that degree and went to school to get that. But we'll keep plugging along on that. Some of these are new. We've lost some people. We'll continue to lose some people. As we go through, people take jobs elsewhere, and this, like I said, this is pretty fluid that it can change from one day to the next. And then the staffing at Fleet and Psalms, some of that is SBA, some of that will be lead teacher that will fill that. We're working on that schedule. In the past, some of the SBA was taught by teachers that were in the building. We could make it an open period for them to do it within their school day. With the cuts that we've made, it has shrunk the size of staffs at high school. So we will need to have people that can do like SBA classes online, whether that's through Fleet, whether that's through the online school, or just our students that are in traditional high school that need to take an SBA class. So we're working through that. We sent out something a week, 2 weeks ago, just to gauge interest and who may want to pick up some of those, because we have to accommodate Psalms, but then we also Fleet, but then also pick up the sections that were lost by teachers within their school day having the ability to be able to teach it, because now their schedule's full, where we had 5 social studies teachers at this particular school. This year they only have 4. They don't have the openings in their schedule that they used to have in the past, so we'll need to find people to pick those up. Outside of the ones that are already, we do have some built in the day. We have lead teacher, and then we have still some openings out there, so we sent that out just to get, and we got pretty good response on that, so I think we'll be able to take care of that quite easily. A variety of people, and we'll look at those kind of like the advanced, who has a good track record, those type of things to select those people to do it, to add a little bit to what they're doing. Any questions on the positions we have available? I hope, I would love to say we'll have them all filled by the beginning of the school year. Some are going to be very, very challenging to do that. So what do? We try to find retired folks that would like to come back to help us until we find the position. That's typically what we do. The part-time English, could that be a retired person that comes back? Very well could be. Those type of things. So we get off, so we have, really quality people standing in front of our kids from day one. I just want to give you all an update. Nothing to vote on, or just tell you where we're at.
I have a question about a pre-K. I know we've talked about, we're in the hole on pre-K as it's structured. And part of that is because the reimbursement rate from the state on Smart Start or whatever it's called. Would the tuition that we charge staff members, I know it's a higher rate, would that fund without a deficit another pre-K classroom? I didn't know the answer when a parent asked me that.
not funding what we have.
Okay, because I knew we were making up some of it, because the tuition was higher than the rate we get from the state, but okay, I just wondered, because that, I didn't even think about that before, if we had enough of those, would it be physically possible to open up another? Okay,
She was here to see.
Okay, and then I had a chance, had a really great opportunity to go to the Fleet. It wasn't really an open house, it was more of a program, information for the students and the parents. And I told Carol, when they told me that they're gonna go get lunch from Pilot, I think 2 days a week, and then when they pick up on Monday, it'll be Monday, Tuesday, then we pick up on Wednesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I said, if I'm available, I can pick up the lunches for you. And she said, oh, I got a TA for that. I said, moving up in the world. So anyway, that would be cool just to see those kids, and they were excited. Went up in the bucket, parents were there, they fed them Chick-fil-A, so that's always a big deal for a high school student. So, appreciate that, and I know we'll have an open house again later, I think, for all those students.
You went up in the bucket too, didn't you?
I did, 53 feet up, and the wind wasn't blowing too bad, because it had, I'd say, Daniel. He was the one, one of the trucks that they had were not great, he went and stole a truck from Pike and brought it over there that they used for demo, so that was pretty cool.
I
But
have a 90 if you want to try it.
what, 90? They make those things that go to 150 feet.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what,
Not me.
not me.
But anyway, it was a fun night, good turnout. We actually had a board member from the Mount Airy City Schools there.
Good.
That was, and then we had a couple from Elkin and one, the new superintendent from Yadkin was there. That's good. Okay, great.
Because all of these that are
Okay.
empty have been filled, as in middle ag.
No,
No,
these are.
these are the ones that are open.
These are open.
I thought we had settled the middle ag.
We had one.
Oh, okay.
Had
Would
one?
you like to?
Yeah, we had the middle school ag position open, we filled those two. And then we had the North Surrey ag position come available just a few days ago. So I reached out to the two middle school ag teachers to see if they wanted the North Surrey, and we had one that did. So we transferred that person, which opened up the middle school ag.
And can we say who that was in open session? Who took the North Surrey job? Or do we want to wait and vote on that and close? Or talk about it, not vote on it?
It's open. It's
It's public.
Okay,
Sarah,
okay. So we're going to reapply or re-advertise
Is that the
the
new one?
middle school one again. Okay.
Wow.
Which
Yeah.
we have posted that, that has been posted.
Because
the
it's a
ag
12-month,
position.
it's 10 months.
So we just swapped with Mount Airy.
And she come from a high school, and I think she's really thrilled, and the people in the community that have reached out are tickled to death.
And she's got an established ag program. She was trying to build one down there. She had actually come to the Veterans Park to ask us to use our barn to keep the cows in because they didn't have anywhere to do it. So that shows you.
So now we gotta find a middle school ag.
Yeah, we need a middle school.
So do you ever have phys ed, PE openings? Because I've got a young man that's really interested.
They're hard, they really are. People tend to get into that and they stay for a while, so very few openings. Occasionally we do, but it's not like some of these other positions.
Yeah, I thought about just asking you about that in private. I should ask you in private anyway. He's phys ed EC, so.
EC for sure. I mean, we have several openings there.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, he did the phys ed, but did EC kids.
Oh, okay.
oh,
That's his
Got it,
background.
got it.
Okay.
Any other questions on
Yeah,
that?
no, that's-
Kevin, can you tell me, a separate subject, but can you tell me if Mrs. Calvin would like to come back to Surrey County sometime if it became available?
I'm not sure we should answer that. I do the Yadkin County, but I'll talk to you separately. I'll talk to you.
Okay.
And I do want to mention down here, bus drivers, Amy Samples gave an update. We have 6 positions that's open. We do have people in the hopper for those positions. It's just a matter of waiting for them. Probably not the right way to say that. But we do have people that are just waiting for the training, the state to do the training on those. So that
Do we have
was
training set
good.
up for them?
Processing.
Yeah, that can take a little bit, but I'm just glad we have people that are there that hopefully we'll stick with it and we'll be able to, I mean, she said we had 6 openings and there's nobody there, and that's a problem.
I think board members that are retired are to fill in driving buses, so.
That have nothing else to do. Where are you going with it?
I'm getting,
I looked into that
I'm getting
one
ready to get
time.
on PGA tour.
You're gonna be on the what? LPGA, is that what you said? Or the senior PGA?
You heard me.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, additional course offering discussion. Mr. Hutchins had asked about a Bible Study 1, Bible Study 2 course offering. So, Dr. Danley, I think you're gonna talk about the process that we go through.
Certainly, be glad to. So this process is getting ready to start, so it's very timely. And what I have done is I have created a timeline for you. It's the same timeline that was given to me. I'm just following the process that I think has been done for several years. Dr. Reeves, Mr. Vi, Mr. Atkins, and Shane Southard and myself all work on this. And we start, first of all, planning for the we will start planning for the 25-26 school year next week. And so basically, we start off with an administrator meeting and give them the overview, and we give them this timeline, and we get their feedback. Is this timeline, this is what we've done, does it work? I give them a memo that goes to all high school principals, high school assistant principals, high school teachers, high school counselors, and all of our directors. And they are to review our current course guide that is on our website. And they have to consider any revisions or anything that they would like. We look at what are the graduation requirements, what are our local requirements, revised curriculum, our articulation. We have articulation agreements with Surrey Community College, especially for some of our CTE courses. Are there any changes in that? I will go to Dr. Holder and meet with the college, and we will work on those agreements. Anything that needs to be looked at for the early college, high school, any other requests from a board member is anything that comes. And so what we do is there's a Google form, and people can, our teachers, our principals, they put in that Google form any requests that they may have. And those requests can be, have the teachers talked about it in their department. We just don't want it to be, it's not just a one person, this is a true team effort. Has the proposal, have you talked to your principal about it? If it's a CTE course, have you talked to Neil or Paula briefly about it? Is this an addition? Is it a modification only, or is it a deletion? We, last year, we deleted oceanography. That's something we hadn't taught in years. It was just taking up space. Nobody's interested in that. We've got so that's an example. And the beauty of this whole process is it really forces everybody to go read. And that's how we knew that our course guide descriptions needed updating. We find typos every year. We're not perfect. But basically going back and reading and what we're offering. And the goal of it is, do the courses that we offer, number one, do they match our graduation requirements? Are we meeting policy, anything that we have in policy, state board policy? And number three, our biggest thing, is it meeting our goals for career and college readiness? Those pathways that we have for students. But then we have to be fiscally responsible. And so we ask, what are the costs? Because there's a lot of cost. If, let's say, there was an additional Project Lead the Way course, well, what's the cost of all the materials? If we wanted to add a robotics course, if it's an art course, what are the costs? What are the materials? What are the supplies? What are the certifications for teachers teaching it? All of those things, because there could be unintended consequences. So we really try to take that team approach. I take all of those requests, I compile them in a list, and then we have another meeting in September with all of those same people, and we go through request line by line by line. And it is not a Dan Danley yes or no. That group goes, they talk, it's a very productive conversation, and we say yay, nay, or what are we gonna do, or take it to the board and see what they say. It's a productive conversation. Some years, those meetings have been very short, sometimes they've been very lengthy. Once we get all of that together, then it's our job to put a summary together. In the past, I would have put that together for the curriculum committee. So I put, my goal is to have it ready for you for the board work session. And so you can ask questions, we can talk about it. This is the feedback that's been given. And then by October, we really need to have that course guide presented to the board for approval, because then that's when Shane has to start doing a lot of work in the background. And with changing from Power School to Infinite Campus and all of that, I'm not sure what's gonna look like this year. He will tell us. And so we start in November with our rising seniors. Those are your current juniors. Because we have to make sure that they are on track for graduation. We look at ACT, we look at their pull back up their 4-year high school plan. That's where we find, hey, you're a junior. You've not taken PE yet? We've got to get you in PE. We've got to make sure. Or, oh, wait a minute, you haven't taken the locally required course, or these are your options. Or, okay, we got to make sure we pass this course. So it really forces us to look at we use a program called Mesa Cloud, and we look at every current junior, we look at where they are and meet with them and talk to them about their career and college promise options. We look at their CTE course completers. Now, CTE course completers is important, and I'll use my own daughter as an example. She's going to be a marketing completer by the end of next year, by her sophomore year. She will get, her completion will be an articulated course credit to the first marketing course at Surrey Community College. So it's important for somebody to sit down and say, now May, it's real important for you to know you're a completer in this. You've got this credit, you're going to be ready for the next course. So when we register you for this course, you've got that credit. We need to make sure we register you for 201 in marketing or whatever. So we find those things out, and that we're really counseling the kids to help them with that. It's also a time for us in juniors. I was with some juniors over the weekend. I'm like, have you got your internship? Are you applying for Surrey Ag Awards? Where are you going? You don't know what you're doing. So it's that time to say, what are your goals and where are you going? And I say all that because this is a part of the college and career going. And we also talk about FAFSA. And then, of course, by December, 9th graders are on campus. Hopefully, prior to December 19th, we are looking at course enrollment, and we're rocking and rolling on where kids are going to be. We have already scheduled our January 13th, 25 Rising Night for high school enrollment. And then really in the spring, we meet with, make sure all kids have that catalog and they are signed up for courses, because then at that point, it turns over to Mr. By, because his job, working with Neil and Shane and our high school principals, are to run those course tally sheets. And that's when we say, okay, can we offer this course? Only 7 kids registered for it. We're not going to offer that here. I said, Kevin, give me an example, and he reminded me of a good example. AP Earth and Environmental does not make every single year at all of our high schools. If we only have 7 kids, we're probably not going to offer it, but are we going to offer it the next year? Or what is AP English enrollment? Hey, we've got 15 kids this year. That's a good number. We can go ahead and offer that class. We try to stay around 14 and 15 to make a course. Now, does that mean that we have ever had a class with 10 kids sitting in it? Kevin said no to you, you can't say that. So, but we really try to look at class sizes. And we also try to say, okay, is there a class they can take at the college that would give that same credit or give that same opportunity? And so we look at tally sheets, we look at course numbers, and because that's really where it comes in. And we're looking in April, we're going ahead and looking at staffing. So if you scroll down to the bottom, that's what I've given you is an example. Power School was not open, so Neil, he pulled it and put it in a spreadsheet. I just copied it. So for example, if we wanted to offer an additional course, Bible study course at North Surrey High School, you can see we don't have a staff every course is full. Mr. Butler is the athletic director, and so those are all of our athletic directors have, teach, certain classes, and then they have athletic director duty time, and they're all in the social studies department at all three high schools. When I was looking at the certification for, the Bible history classes, falls under social studies. And, so what you see here is a current reality, and if that is something this board would want us to move forward on, we would have to look at budgeting and finding a person, because in this example, the current staff is already full. And so we would go to the next part. If we don't have staffing and we don't have slots, we would look at what's offered at Surrey Community College. So I pulled what was offered at the college, if they wanted to take it, and those are the courses that would be offered there. And I called, and we did have one student who took a Bible course in the spring semester at Surrey Community College through CCP. So I'll be glad, I hope I've explained that. I'll be glad to answer any questions, feedback.
I do want to say, after talking to a lot of parents, and I do mean a lot now, and some church people here in Surrey County. There's a verse in the Bible that says, without a vision, the people perish. We've just spent months working on a vision, but a vision that doesn't include, a vision that doesn't include God is a false vision. So there's an old saying, I believe it is, that says, those who forget history are doomed to repeat it. That's why I requested that it come in the form of history. Now, I think the Supreme Court pretty much said we can't teach creation science, we can't do it. But to not offer, and again, when I brought this up in the past, it's come up as Surrey Community does it, and I'm thankful that Surrey Community does it. I just don't think all of our high schoolers have access to Surrey Community College for that one particular class. If we had it in the building, I think we'd have more of an interest. So here's kind of where I'm at. We try to teach morality with SEL. Don't bully, treat each other with kindness. But we are trying to teach morality without the God of morality. We're going to have to get back to some basics. I don't see anything wrong with finding out our history or where we come from. So I realize that this is late. If I come in here tonight and say I want to get the votes to do a Bible history 1 and 2, Old Testament, New Testament, I realize that there is no way possible that we're going to get this in come August. I know that. What I like is the lead-in. At least put it out there and let's see what the public says. Let's see what the teacher says. I would like to see a teacher teaching it that believes in it. You know, not, I don't even know how to say what I'm trying to say. The new ag teacher or the ag teachers that we've hired are dedicated to ag. I'd like to see us get somebody that's dedicated to that course, if that makes any sense. So, and as far as the supplies for it, I feel like if we can get it, if we bring it in there and make it an offer for the kids, there's probably some churches around here would be willing to donate the textbook. Matter of fact, I'll pitch in on it if we can just get it in there. I think there's probably a lot of kids that would love to see it. I went through, did some research. I have one here, social studies elective, and it is an elective. Bible as a history class. I don't know that I necessarily particularly care for this particular one, but there is one at www.bibleandschools.net. It's called the National Council on Bible Curriculum in Public Schools, and it's an 18-page. I started to call Miss Hunter today and see if she would print it out for me, but I didn't see a need in bombarding you guys tonight. But if we're looking to lead into it at one of the meetings, is that kind of where we're at? We're going to bring it up and see what we can do. just following what you just said, is there going to be an introduction from those people? Or the people in the curriculum committee, which doesn't exist anymore, but.
Well, we just want to bring up the process to the board of what we do for all of our courses. I know this has been certainly something that you brought up, Mr. Hutchins, is if we were going to, and this is true for any course, but if this is what we, and as a board, if this is something you want to move forward on, then we've got the process, we've got the dates, then we just need to put it into action. And so there's a lot more to it. Obviously, you have, you've got your course guide, you have your course description, you have to have a teacher that's certified. I think from a pure logistics standpoint on our side, it becomes, it's an elective, it's not a requirement. In our social studies curriculum, and if you looked at North Surrey there, for example, all those are required classes. It would be adding an elective class, and it's going to be an additional cost, which could mean we'd have to employ maybe a half-time teacher. Not sure what numbers are, if kids will take it or not, but just from this standpoint, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 social studies teachers at North Surrey, but there's, as you can see with the class sizes over there, there's just no room at that school. Didn't do that at the other schools. So it's just a long, lengthy process we have to go through. Step one is identifying all the other courses, this course included. If these are things you want to move forward on, we'll bring that back to the board. When is that date? I can't remember in that timeline.
Is that what you're saying, you want that
Course
include
review,
this in
September.
the process
Yeah,
to look at for 25, 26?
Yeah.
Correct,
Yes.
and do we have the support on the board to say, let's do this? Because what we got schools now that are mandating that they put the 10 Commandments in every classroom. We know what's gonna happen when it gets to the Supreme Court. They're gonna throw that out. They're gonna make them take it out, I'd almost bet on it. It's just the way the nature of where we're at. And then we have a lot of them that are mandating a Bible class in school. Two states, I believe it was, just did that. So, and that's what I said, do I need to request a vote from the board to say, go with that and let's add it? Or do we bring it up and then talk about it at a later date and talk
Are you
about
saying let's add it, or let's get it in the process to see if the feasibility is there?
That's the question.
What is your question?
I would like to see it voted in, but at the same time, I realize I can't force other people to see things the way that I do. I get that. I could make a motion to say we add this, but right now, we don't even know what the cost of it is. We don't know if we have a teacher. We don't know, we don't know. So, as a board, how do we direct the question there? How do we direct you to start looking into this process, and do we have the votes to do it?
One thing that I'm concerned about is what the parents is gonna say about religious class in school. Are you gonna have, my preacher, he's a Presbyterian teacher, I'm saying around my,
I
he's a
agree.
Baptist. And you got, one who's a Mormon, and you got Catholics and all, so which denomination are you gonna have teaching? Because
I don't think we ought to ever have a
Non-denominational. Should be non-denominational, I would assume.
or anti-denominational in my book. We're talking about history, not doctrine. I don't think we should be teaching doctrine. I should not be teaching your kid how to believe. I don't think we should be teaching doctrine, but as far as teaching history, we can teach that there was a flood.
But once you mention Bible class, they're gonna think it's
Well, yeah, and we'll always have a negative out
teaching
there.
religion.
Well, that's true. And we'll have people that want to argue over the version of the Bible that we use.
Yeah.
But again, we're teaching history. Where did we come from? What happened in the world? We had the Tower of Babel. We had these things. Joshua around Jericho. We know by architectural remains that Jericho failed.
Call the,
Yeah, I can get it.
Call a vote
It's
and see if we
historic.
get the votes to have them to
You have
begin
follow the policy
looking at
from
the
the
Yeah,
state.
that was the question that I had tonight. What do I, how do I go about the process? Because I don't want to force the board into it. What I want to do is us as a board bring something back that was took out a long time
You
ago.
have to
Well,
consider other
you know,
religious
some
influences on
religions
philosophy.
half the congregation believe in one thing and the other half believe in something else.
You're right. If you stand 10 right here in the middle of the room, there'll be 10 different. I mean, that's just the way that it is, but the question is, do we take it all out because we can't get everybody to agree? I got science.
Well, it's just a touchy subject.
Well, no, and I agree, but if we throw science out here, we're gonna have people who disagree. So, I'd like to make a motion that we go into the process of bringing Bible History 1 and Bible History 2 into the school system, and let's go from there.
Using the current process that we just.
Using the current process, like I said, I don't want to have a forced issue.
Because there are a lot of
Bible
pieces.
History 1 and Bible History 2, is that?
Old Testament and New.
Okay.
And so take it through the process, because there's a lot of things, like you said, that go into that decision.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to be able to put Merry Christmas stuff out on front of our school, but you can't, maybe just take it down and stuff like that.
I'll second that motion. If you want to get it to go to the committee to look at the process, to see if it's feasible, I'd second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second that we include Bible history or Bible or New Testament, Old Testament, or,
I think the course code and the course description is gonna be guided by the state.
okay.
There has to be a course code in Power School. And that's where there's some technicalities we'll need to get into and research from that.
So that would be part of the process too.
And also, it's important to remember that it's taught, it lands itself through social studies because it is taught through the history lens. It does open yourself up to the Bible or other religious teachings as literature. So I will caution, that would be, I'm just reading straight facts.
So somebody could come in and say, while we're doing that, I want you to teach the history of the grain.
Well, I'm just saying that if they're teaching it from historical view, they could compare it to other things. Because they have to teach it
Do we see
strictly.
the course guide here at Surrey Community College, Introduction to the New Testament, Introduction to the
Yeah.
Old Testament?
I've taken those
That's what I'm,
classes.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's the thing that, if we can just get them, if we can get them to see it, it's been took out and said, please don't take what I'm fixing to say wrong, because it's not meant the way that it may come out. In the 5th grade, we can't believe it. We come in and we give them a testament.
New Testament.
And I'm thankful for that. But then we have a 5th grader who has no idea what that means. And they go home and their parents have no idea what that means. They don't know the stories, they don't understand the stories. So in essence, what we do is, if we're not real careful, we're going to give them a paperweight. And I think that we can go a little further and say, open it up and let me just show you the history of it. What can we prove by history? We can prove that this happened, and this happened, and this happened.
Did you say this is done in Forsyth County Schools?
This is.
I do know, I talked to the principal at Reagan High School, I know it's offered there, and he said that they can offer it when they have open sections. It's not offered at every high school. It's an elective course. And if they have the staffing, they did offer it the past 2 years, and they have one, I think he said 1 or 2 sections this year they were looking at. I mean, I've gotten that far in my research, so, but staffing drives it. Enrollment and student interest drives it.
So that's a course that's already being used in some schools that we would use, you're asked to use in this school.
Correct.
Some that's already been used.
Correct.
Sorry.
We would have to look at like what the course, what the code would be in Power School, and how it would fit in. Those, when I say work it through the process, that's what I mean, work it through the process.
But it seems
I
like
think
that's
school
the way to do it.
counselors will know if there will be interest or not. And if the enrollment numbers are not there, we gotta be okay to say, hey, we've offered it, but it didn't make, you know. And then
I agree.
if it does make, then we're gonna be saying, okay, how we're gonna staff it,
Right.
you know.
It's
I think, I just,
like
and me, those are the thoughts that are in.
How far in advance are you able to determine class enrollment?
In that timeline, usually by the end of March, when we start pulling those sheets and Shane starts working his magic.
So in February, the counselors will start to sit down with the students and
They
say,
start
what do you
working-
want to take? And
Start
then
working with
it goes
juniors in
into-
November.
That goes into, what's the program that goes into that starts to lay
Career
out?
cruising.
Career cruising, and
Now
that starts to lay out.
Zello. Yep.
But then, now you may have 30 students that want to take English 3 and 30 that want to take a CTE class, and it can only happen at the same time. Now you got a problem.
Yep.
Because the other classes may, there is a science to how that works. I've
Does that
seen it.
allow you time to, when you determine enrollment, that gives you the time to determine the availability of teachers?
Right. I meet with each principal. They give me a tally sheet. How many kids are going to be in world history class? And we go, I take by department, and I'll meet with the principal and say, okay, I see you have this many kids signed up for these classes. You have this number of teachers, or you had last year this number of teachers. Do you need that same number again based on the sections? Sometimes, like this year, we trimmed that because we can do it. I look at numbers and we talk about it, and say, for example, a school may be able to offer 30 classes for the year, all their teachers combined 30 courses. But they have 31 down there, okay? Then I start talking to them, yeah, but you got 12 sitting in this class, okay? And you have 15 in this other world history class, combine those two, now you have 30. You know, we go through that process every year, and regardless of what's in the course. And that would be one we would look at, just like any other course, say, okay, North, you have 30 sections. Does that make the 30th section based on the needs of your kids? Maybe, and it could be offered if, you know, there's enough kids to sign up.
But by March, I mean, we've got to go through this process to make sure that we can offer it before you tell the kids, because once they say yes, it's too late to get it off.
It would have to be in the course description guide for them to be able to choose it.
Right.
And that's what we would bring to
So
the
that's why
board
this
in
process-
October for approval. Here's the courses we're offering next year.
That's
You'll
also,
approve it.
it's also why you have a first, second, third elective choice.
Yeah.
Because you may not get your first choice, or your second, or your third. I mean, all that's, it's a lengthy process, but honestly, that's how we're able to run efficiently and not break the bank. Because we're going through those schedules and really trying to maximize staffing and student interest. What that does, though, is every time you reduce a section, it puts more constraint on the schedule. The more sections you have, I mean, the schedules, you know, you can do pretty much, you got 4 sections of world history, you pick, you know, it's easy, but.
And the number of sections is based on the number of students in school, right? That's right.
That's right.
What credentials for this person teaching this class have?
Social
Social
studies.
studies.
It has some licenses.
Licenses.
Social studies?
In Winston-Salem, Forsyth County, it falls under social studies, it's called Bible history. And that's probably because that's how the course code is set up. And the state board and all of them, we'd have to look at their policy, that's probably how it is. And I would, you know, it's studying the Bible as a piece of literature, and examine the influence on the history and the law and how it impacts culture. Learn about history, geography, other religions, politics of the Middle East. And they require you to have world history before enrolling in the course. See, all that we're gonna have to determine. There's just lots we're gonna have, we would have a lot of work on that. We've got some work to do.
At this point, we need to vote on if we put it into the process to begin with.
Well, or we just put it in the Google form, I don't know, but, I mean, whatever you direct us to do. That's where we shared all this tonight.
You got a first and a second.
We got a motion and a second that we take a Bible history course through this process to see
Yes,
what we come out
attitude.
with. To see if it's feasible, if there's interest, all the stuff that y'all do.
One
That's
other
it.
question. I don't think I asked this question recently. The parents understand that the child will be taking this class, or do they have to sign off on it or anything? If they're okay with them taking a Bible class?
That's a great question, and I talked to May about her high school registration, but I can't say that every parent does that.
I don't think it's required,
And-
the signature. I don't remember that being a requirement for a junior or senior.
I mean, I did come home with a paper to sign off for her.
I didn't either. I just signed up for what I wanted to take, especially when it came to electives.
Yeah. And you know, the electives are gonna be, they're a lot smaller as the ninth graders, they are 11th and 12th graders, so.
But the curriculums are available, parents to see.
Well,
Yeah.
what I'll do is just start working on researching what other districts do. and what
All
they
our
use.
curriculums are available for parents to see
Oh, yeah.
online. and-
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yep. Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion to take a Bible history course through this evaluation process for our board to make a decision on, coming on later this year, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no? Okay, would you please add that to the list to go through and see
Yes, sir.
how that falls out?
Got it.
Okay, Mr. Dixon here to talk about the Shoals Playground project we asked him to go back here and visit. Well, we're still.
We can finish by 5:30, we on time.
Yeah, we will, maybe. I open my mouth too soon.
What's our next?
They're leaving the columns and the wrought iron, so I'm.
Hello, how are you doing? Oh, no, nothing like getting thrown in the fire right off the bat, huh?
Yeah, I don't even know where.
Good afternoon. This guy doing here?
Yeah, we just throwing him right in the fire right off the bat.
Mr. Dixon, you've been the defense attorney, you've been.
What am I?
I don't know. You're not the defender, okay?
Got your PTO president, at your first meeting with the board.
Yeah.
I do, yeah.
We'll see how that goes.
She was gonna come whether I told her to come or not. If
Okay.
I'd have said don't come, she would've showed up.
I probably would have at least stood outside the door.
Right.
Well, we did, as a board, ask you to go back and revisit, sit down and talk about what you think would be feasible and how we can make this work. So would you like to tell us what you guys have come up with?
I'm gonna let Brandon open this up.
So I'll open this up real quick. I am Brandon Cook, the new principal at Shoals Elementary, and I did type out my speaking points because if not, I ramble. But it gives me great joy to come to you today about our new playground. The PTO has been very instrumental in leading this good cause. You know, the community, businesses, churches around Shoals have been super supportive in making this dream become a reality. I want to thank Kristen Rebo, our PTO president, for the amount of time and dedication she's put forth for this new playground. And I believe that the students at Shoals deserve this. And what a testament to our community to finish this playground for students to enjoy for years to come. And, I'm excited, I'm pumped up, and I know that they will be too. So I'm going to give it to Doug Dixon.
Good afternoon, board. I was gonna tag on to what he said. I went and done the research on all this, all the work that Kristen and Martha had done, and it turned out really well. I actually met with the company owner of Backyard Paradise on site. Great gentleman, he has offered his help all the way through this process. I called all the references, we was given 8 references, I called all of those. 4 returned my calls, and I had really good conversations with them. This was really complimentary for the company, so I have no issues with the company. Chris has done a great job with that. I also met with Drew Kane. He's a gentleman that was going to do the hauling and some of the demo. We worked that out. Very nice young man, and his price is listed in here. Basically, he's going to donate his services and his equipment, but we're gonna have to haul that asphalt off. And that was, this 4,500 in here is for his demo and for disposal. As we get looking for an area, you'll kind of see more about that. We're gonna do this in 4 stages. First couple stages is the playground installation. The first one is the kindergarten installation. The brick columns and the fence are remaining. I went, laid all this playground equipment off and had it verified by the owner, everything will fit perfectly. We're gonna spruce it up, we're gonna clean the brick, paint the wrought iron, it's gonna be really nice when we finish it. Again, the other things that you're seeing here, the stages, is basically where we're gonna just move forward. The first 2 stages is playground installation. The third stage is gonna be the swings. We're gonna leave the existing swings where they're at until the PTO purchases their new swings. So we will not be without swings. Once they arrive, we will change those out. And then stage 4 is basically a demo of existing old playground and swings. I was able to work with the owner of Backyard Paradise, and we actually saved about somewhere close to around $6,000 off this price by just reconfiguring some things and redoing some of the border. At this time, we're just a little bit short on the amount needed to do the first 2 stages. I'm talking like $3,500, something like that. So I have no issues, no worries about raising that amount of money. I don't think Ms. Rebo does either. Probably the equipment will not be here until October, end of October on into November. So we got plenty of time to plan for this, and she has plenty of time to raise the money that she's going to need to complete this process. Maintenance, I backed out what we would normally spend over the next couple of years in just regular maintenance off my price, what it would cost maintenance to do this. And what you see here, $11,000, basically what it's going to cost. Majority of that is mulch, because we're digging all the mulch out, hauling it off, and putting new mulch in, and that's kind of expensive. But maintenance is going to be doing pretty much all of the demo and the hauling, and we've done worked that out. And we see no issues moving forward. So I would like, if you have any questions, just to fire them at me and I'll try to answer them.
Are you ready for this to be approved?
Yes, sir. I don't think you have any worries.
You're good with the 11,000?
I'll make a motion, we approve it, and move forward, let Shoals and the community do what they want to do.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion in about 4 seconds. One quick question I have for you, though. You were going to meet with parents. Did you have a chance to do that, and everybody's good with it? So the last thing we want to do is them get something that they don't really want. Are we good?
Yeah, so we haven't met with parents, but we did have a playground meeting, a committee meeting, which consists of some parents, some of our PTO members, and some of our teachers.
Okay.
And everybody's on board with everything. They've approved all the equipment, the plans, and they're just waiting for y'all's approval too.
Was there anything on the pre-K side of it, or no, kindergarten? What was the little area out to the side was pre-K?
That was pre-K.
And that was going to remain as is that true? Is that, because I didn't see anything on?
Yeah.
That remains as is.
Okay, all right, that's all I have, man. So we got a motion and a second to approve the plan as presented tonight.
You had questions, leaving the bricks and leaving the wrought iron.
And I love the fact of cleaning it up and repainting it, that'll make it really
Yes,
pop.
sir.
It's going good.
Yeah. What are the colors for the school?
It's like a royal blue and white.
Well, those things would look really good in royal blue.
Thank you again for all
Yeah.
your work.
Yes.
My pleasure.
On this and the community's work.
As far as the remaining balance, that $3,500, pretty certain we already have that. We have, our student council is making at least $2,000 donation to us. And we had an anonymous donor give us $500 just this past week. And the remaining, we have some outstanding donation coming from R&J Tree Service. For all their work in July, they're donating 10% of their profits to us.
Wow.
So I'm fairly certain that we'll have that amount that we need, if not more,
Great.
by the end of this month.
And let's just remember, we need to help Doug out a little bit, because we're asking him to spend $11,000 out of his budget. So when he comes back and has a request for something else, we need to help him out. All right, motion and second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no? There you go. It was just one more step, and thank you for your patience. Thank you for doing what we ask, and I cannot wait to come down and see you.
I cannot wait to have you all there.
Great.
Thank you.
Welcome to Shoals, Mr.
Yeah.
Cook.
Thank you so much,
Let's have a
everybody.
nice ribbon cutting.
Yeah.
That was on my to-do list.
I'll get Holly, let's get Holly involved.
Yeah. For the amount of work y'all put into it, you deserve that.
Yeah.
You deserve
Yeah, you'd be
it.
commended for the work.
Thank you.
They done a really good job, it's gonna be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
And
looking
loyal
forward to
boy,
it.
right? I'm just gonna mess with you until we get down there and see you. You know that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, school nutrition bid extension versus Sherry. Okay. Yeah, well, she's here for the kitchen equipment too, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, did extension, and she's
Hello, magician, how are you doing?
Good, how are y'all doing?
Good to see you.
See you.
So it's that time of the year again where we gotta go through, sign a lot, give a lot of money,
Well, yes,
or just agree to what we've already
just
done.
agree what's coming ahead.
And we don't have any problem with milk contractors, right? We don't want that again.
We know we have one, and they have agreed to come back, so that's success to me.
Yes, it is, it is. And everybody at school seem to be happy with it.
Yeah, they do. The only thing we don't love is that used to they would drop it and they kind of predict what we needed, and now we have to worry, so.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's fine.
Okay, so you're asking us to approve the bids, bid extensions, and then part of this is in that co-op we went in with the milk with Yadkin. How it's written, you want to explain all that to us? Tell us what
Yes,
we need.
and so our bid, we are permitted to have an original bid and extend for up to 4 years depending on the service and pricing and those kinds of things. We can increase for consumer price index, but that's about it. And so the bids that you see there are bids that we already have, except for, we have a new bid for the foster cabinets, and that is in a co-op group, and that's Yadkin County and Davie County and Surrey County. Years ago, we would do our big U.S. Foods bids as a group here in this region, and now we have the North Carolina Purchasing Alliance, so we don't do that anymore. We try to be cooperatively when we can, just to kind of save money and assure the vendor that they have enough business to make it worth their while. So the foster cabinets is also, it's also the contract for the state of North Carolina to deliver farm to school and Department of Defense produce that we use as well. So that's good for us, that we don't have to find another produce contractor to do that. And like I said, the rest of them are just extensions. We purchase sugar-free beverages from Pepsi. That's just for our high schools. And then cleaning supplies come from the Department of Corrections, and that's also with the North Carolina State System. And then our ice cream is with Hershey's. That's a cooperative bid with Stokes County, Yadkin, and Davie, I believe. And then our pizza is just through Pizza Hut. That's an extension as well. So that's really all we're asking you to do this afternoon, is to just allow us to extend those bids and approve that new bid with foster cabinets.
The new cost is automatically adjusted for CPI for all these, right?
Well, actually, most of those are no increase.
So that necessarily.
Hershey's is the only one that had to do a price adjustment just because that one was pretty low. But even with that, it's a couple cents a unit, so it's not significant. And there are actually no other ice cream vendors. If you didn't get on an ice cream bid before now, you're not getting a contract with an ice cream company. There's just no one that does this anymore.
And ice cream, is that one of those extras they can get if they go
Yes.
through?
Yes, but they have to meet the Smart Snack standards for ice cream, and so most companies don't want to create products that meet those standards.
Gotcha.
I make a
motion that we approve.
Approve all the extensions and the new, okay?
Thank you.
Mr. Hutchins and Mr. Whitaker. Any further questions? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, no? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Number one. Now we're gonna buy some kitchen equipment.
I hope so. So we have some things that we've been needing to replace for a bit. The guys, we have, as y'all know, an excellent maintenance staff that helps us keep our equipment going. And, you know, it's not easy to do with all the buildings and all the equipment that we have, but they do a really nice job. And they've kept some things alive for us, but I think the time is up for some of these pieces of equipment. And so the equipment that you see there that I got a bid for is, it's not that many schools really, I think it's less than 10, but it's just some combi ovens. These are all replacements, nothing is in addition to. And I am working with Doug Dixon and his team just to make sure the electrical is the same, that it just goes right in, it's not a big deal. An immersion blender, a steamer, convection oven for Copeland, some holding cabinets, a food processor, a slicer, and a reach-in freezer. And so, as you can see there, equipment is extremely expensive. When we go to build a kitchen, you'll remember this part, because this is just a few pieces, and then for a whole kitchen, it gets into the millions. But we're thankful for, sent that out to United Restaurant out of Raleigh, Denver Equipment, they're in the Lake Norman area, and then Singer is on the eastern part of the state. And so you can see the prices there. United Restaurant came in at the low bid, and we're actually going to go, I asked for 2 different types of combi ovens. We're going to go with this school version, get a little bit more free money there. And so that will be around $156,145.
Couple questions.
Okay.
Will anything that we do be able to be moved over or reused if we renovate the 2 high school kitchens?
That's a great question. So the only school that's going to get a new piece would be Surrey Central.
Okay.
And that's a combi oven, and yes, absolutely,
We
we
can
can,
reuse
that's gonna be one of my favorite things to do is put things on wheels.
So
Yes.
you feel like this is the best price that we can get on these things?
That's,
You've done your bid process?
yes, yes,
Do you have the funds?
yes, yes, we do.
Make a motion, we approve.
Okay.
Motion by Mr. Bledsoe, second by Mr. Goins. And is this part of the enterprise where it has to be paid for out of it, or is this something that's coming out of your overage, your?
So this is out of our fund, yes, this is out of our fund balance, and this is not with a grant.
Okay.
We've done a lot of grants, but this is not a particular grant. We're hoping to hopefully get most of these pieces in by the end of August, because the schools really, really need them, and they've just, like I said, we've limped along a little bit.
Okay. So it'll be early in the school year? You
Yes,
think you can-
yes,
okay.
this will be soon.
So we'll be able to use these pretty soon when we go out there.
Yes, you will, I hope you'll
Just
notice.
as long as we don't burn ourselves on
And when you look at that combi oven that costs that much money, I want you to just appreciate that.
$17,000 for that.
So you can buy a car.
They will catch on fire.
They will catch on fire.
I heard they will.
Oh, I know somebody that can put that out.
If they're around with a fire extinguisher, they can. Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the, no, wait a minute. Yeah, we need a motion. Motion by Hobbs, go back on the other
I
one.
didn't make a motion.
Did you?
He did.
On this
Clark
one?
seconded.
Clark
Okay,
seconded.
so you got me, I was back on the other one. So we do have a motion and a second. You have it done? Good. To approve the purchases of these pieces of equipment that Mrs. Parks provided to us. All those through United, low bid. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Thank you very
All right,
much.
sounds good.
That
Thank
was an
you so
easy
much.
trip. You
Yeah.
have to wait 4 hours for.
That was not bad. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Appreciate
for
your
being
support.
diligent with your money.
Thank
Now,
you.
get to go back to Mr. Dixon.
She's awesome.
Yes, she is.
At
Please
least
don't get her
school.
retired.
And you,
She just runs a great program.
guys, let me ask you this on Doug's purchase order that he's got coming in.
This one with the pre-approvals.
Yeah, the blanket purchase orders.
Yeah.
I may need to recuse myself from this because one of these Frontier Naturals is a customer of mine. would you all feel better if I recuse myself from voting on awarding them?
We don't have a choice, and they're the only provider in this area, right? Natural gas provider.
Very soon, you're gonna make, I'm assuming you're gonna make a decision based on what's right.
Yeah, but I just didn't want to, I just wanted that to be known, that way there's an opportunity.
No, I think Piedmont Natural Gas tried to come in years ago and take that territory, Frontier said, nope, it's ours, and we're gonna keep it, so.
Okay.
I don't know that we got a choice.
All right, as long as y'all were okay with it.
And I think what these are giving him limits, right, that he can spend up to based on what it cost us last year to operate it. Is Doug out there?
He is, yes. Are you ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
And board members, these are all over $30,000. Some of this stuff's, I mean, it's the uniforms, but it's all over $30,000. I'm not approved to approve it, so I'm bringing it to you. This is typical year-end stuff or beginning of year stuff that we've got to get approved, and you'll see the budget amendments or not, but just want to make sure in a transparent fashion that you're well aware of what's going on.
And I'll let y'all know on the first one for new board members, Centos, the uniforms, we had Gene Reese years ago, and Gene sold out, and the company that bought them did not give us the price, did not give us the service we needed, so Robert came to us and they did their proposals, and Centos was the best, and so far, I guess it's been good.
That's pretty much, and they're all state contracts, so it is, that's the price, so.
Okay.
I make a motion we approve.
I'll second the state contract.
You had to sit out there and wait for all that time for that. All right, Doug, you got it? Motion
Who was
by
the first
Mr.
motion?
Hutchins, second by Mr. Goins. Any questions? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no? You get to go home earlier than we do, Doug. How about that? Let's see, wait a minute, do we have anything else for you? I don't think so.
I think that's it.
Amplified Dibbles and the board meetings, okay?
All right.
Thanks, sir.
Thank
Really
you, I
have a good
appreciate
evening.
you.
See y'all
You had
later.
two pretty easy ones tonight.
Oh, yeah, I did.
All right, good.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Be
Thanks
safe.
for working with them on that playground.
Yeah.
It's,
That could have been very
very
emotional,
reassuring.
because this is what I said I wanted, we're raising the money, what do you mean, no?
Yeah.
But you appreciate your calm and, yeah, helping work it through it.
We worked through it,
Lot of work.
so it's good.
Yeah.
I can't wait till it's done.
Yeah, I bet you can, we
It's
can't.
gonna look good.
Yeah,
Have a good
it will,
evening.
thank you. All right, so we got Deanne and Margaret,
Margaret had an appointment.
okay.
It's just me that I can talk this. So these, we just this is our annual, we request, because it is over 30,000. We do this. The Amplify is the only program that sells dibbles. We have our sole source letter. So there's two purchases I'm requesting tonight. The first one is the Dibbles 8 assessment for our 4th and 5th grade. The state purchases it for K3, we purchase for 4-5. Because of that continuity in services, it's a part of our MTSS, and that total cost there. I had them break it down, but when we put it all in, I just want to make sure everything's covered there. And then the Amplify Boost is $73,730. You'll see that's broken down. The cheapest way for us to get it is by site license by school size. So you will see we have 4 site license for our smaller schools, and then 7 site license for our medium and larger schools, and then Surrey Online Magnet School is per student cost. We use we'll finish out using some ESSER funds that were in the ESSER budget. We'll use Title I federal programs funds for that, and then the state gives us those 085 early reading funds that we can use to purchase that. And so there's no local cost included. I just need permission to purchase. The beauty of this program with Amplify Boost is our teachers don't have to assess an extra time. When they come in and they do their one-on-one assessments, the data's pulled right into the program and the kids can start working at their pace. When you've been in classrooms, elementary schools, I know you've seen this program, they've been using it during flex groups, the kids will be on their computers, they'll be singing or whatever they're saying in their headphones, but we've had good usage with this program, and I really do feel like it's helping support our students. We had students use it this summer because this contract does run through summer. Parents call and say, hey, what can my kids do at home? I'm like, oh, they still got their Boost login. Do you have a computer? Do you have internet? And so we find it very valuable and request your approval for this purchase.
And this is a state approved that will allow us to do the reassessments after, and they get credit for it.
Yes, they
levels?
can. Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Is this the same one that last year we were talking about, the state was possibly talking about picking up 4 and 5?
They were looking at picking up 4 and 5, but it was not in the latest release of the budget, and I don't wanna wait. I'm willing to spend $6,000 of that 085 funding, so kids can start the school year, and we know where they are. It's just, I didn't see it, so. But it's what's right for kids, and, Ms. Spicer, our elementary principals, our reading specialists, our teachers will say that, so.
On recommendation, I move we approve it.
Motion to approve the Amplified Dibbles 8 and Amplified Boost.
Second.
Second. So you got Mr. Goins and Mr. Bledsoe, all right? Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Thank you. And this one will hopefully be the easiest one, the changing on the dates for our board meetings. There's only one change, right, the December one?
There's a
That's
date
correct,
and
yes.
location.
Date and location.
Okay. That's right, okay.
I'll make a motion, we accept it with the changes.
All right, so December 2nd, January 21st. All right, motion to approve the board meeting date and location change presented.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Whitaker, so Mr. Hutchins, Mr. Whitaker. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. And let's remember that December 2nd will be, hopefully, well, it should be, induction of at least one new member. And so I'll say hopefully one new and one existing. So, but Mr. Scales, yeah, I am. Are you really? Democrat running on the ticket. But Mr. Scales asked for Central Middle, and I couldn't think of a better place to do it, so I think that's great. All right, anything else?
Oh.
Good, anybody have anything else you'd like to discuss? All right, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
Motion by Mr. Combs. He just, we all know now to wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, we looked to the corner.
That we need a second.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Whitaker. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Thank you, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Well, maybe before.
Thank you. I sent you all a